Well, it's Friday night, and that can only mean one thing. The Pocket Change Market Report. Welcome to another fantastic episode, well, at least I think it's pretty gosh darn good, of everybody's favorite kind of like sales report, where we take a look at actual change finds, roll finds, and we put it all together in one snazzy report, all stuff that's sold on eBay for your consideration. Okay, I do this every Friday if I could, maybe Saturday morning. The main idea with this particular video is that these are coins that you can just go take a few, good pictures of, throw them up on eBay, as a buy it now or a traditional auction format, maybe that runs 5 or 7 days, and just let it ride, man. See where it goes. And oftentimes, you put your best effort in the photos and just explaining it well. Then you make a few bucks in the process. So this is for the week ending May 1st. Happy May, everyone. Yeah, the weather's getting hot, and the coin sales are continuing to be blistering hot. A lot of great stuff for sale. Now, May 1st, traditionally we are getting to the end of the time of the year where maybe coin sales begin to slow down. So we're going to go ahead and monitor that as we go on through the summertime months. Kind of hard to say, with everything going on in the world right now and everybody at home doing a whole heck of a lot of nothing. There might be more emphasis on actually going through coins. So we'll see. And another thing, every single sale has images direct from the particular seller of that coin. None of it's doctored, so you'll get to see all of the magical looking focus attempts. And, just the weird kind of backgrounds, the shag carpeting that we love so much. It should be a lot of fun. So, as always, I got to go ahead and do the good old YouTube thing before we dive right in. If this is your first time here, welcome. Feel free to, hit the like button if you enjoy today's content. Hit the subscribe button on the way out. That would be fantastic. And also, feel free to share the video. If you enjoy it and you find a lot of great information, share it on to the world. That'd be awesome. So what do we got this week? Well, someone did pay $78 for this, what looks to be just a regular circulated 1982 dime, but there is a little bit more to this that you guys are gonna, probably want to know about, so that way you guys can keep a wide eye open for this particular coin. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the very first listing of the bunch, and it's going to be this $1 bill. All right, so this is a new modern bill. It's a 2017 series. This is what you would typically find, out there today, circulating around. Now, people do collect what they call fancy serial numbers. Okay, it's a pattern of numbers on each one of the strings right here. It's 8 digits. You have a prefix and a suffix letter. But depending on the actual pattern of the numbers, some of them do sell for quite a bit of money. If you have, 8 in a row of any one number, that's a particularly rare and valuable note in itself. So this one right here reads 78522 All right, so if you split the serial number in half, it's almost mirrored. Okay, so they call this a radar or palindrome pattern serial number. Okay, so this is a very collectible note. This one right here looks to be in pretty good shape. Looks like it's fresh, printed as it is. There's not a whole lot of anything else going on with it. This one sold for $23.89 today. Pretty cool. So keep an eye out for those pretty cool serial number patterns, radars, repeaters, ladders, you name it. There's a whole bunch of them out there. Low serial, high serial. Pretty crazy stuff how much these notes go for. All right, it's everybody's favorite die break, and it's the cut. You can see this big old gabagoo right here over the word trust. That is a Cud die break. Okay, cud die breaks affect the rim area of the coin. All right, and this one is quite sizable enough that it encompasses nearly the entire word of trust. But this particular example is legit. On the reverse, you also have the weakness on the corresponding side of the cud. By the way, great carpet. Fantastic gray color there. So again, a very popular coin. Cuds are typically pretty common in the 1983 Philadelphia's, so keep an eye out for this coin. The coin itself is not particularly high grade. You can even see a few scratches here. You know, this would on a regular day would net grade, you know, or a details grade if you send it off to a grader. But nonetheless, this cud right here sold for $29.20 today. All right, the next one that we have here, keep an eye out on your early 1940s and 1950s Lincoln wheat cents. Because, man, those planchets are horrible. Here, case in point, we have a 1941S Lincoln wheat cent. This is the only graded coin out of the bunch. Again, I like to place a lot of emphasis on raw coins. Coins that you don't even need to grade and you just go ahead and sell it. But this one right here speaks volumes. You have a nice, really big old lamination peel right here that is fully retained. It looks like a flap of skin, actually. It's kind of weird. But this one right here is an Annex EF40. If you were going to send some of these relatively minor errors out, you know, Annex is probably the place to be. I probably would have sold this raw and still come away with the same amount of money without having to pay for the grading fees. This one sold for $17.17. And by the way, when I quote you the prices of what these sold for, keep in mind that also includes shipping. All right, some listings have free shipping, some have $2 or $3 in the mix. All right, so this one right here was advertised on eBay as to having a few multiple errors. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and recite a few of the errors that this 1982 copper large date Lincoln Memorial cent had. The obverse has a little bit of a misaligned die. Okay, that's pretty minor right there. You have a much thicker rim on this side of the coin than you do on the other. On the reverse, the seller had mentioned that there is a little bit of a clip right here. I don't know if that's a clip or probably just a little bit of the coin took a hit somewhere. It's way too flat. You know, you don't see any areas of the Blakesley effect, which is usually the corresponding side. This just looks a little fishy to me. However, what's most impressive is this dent-looking thing right here that covers the end of cent, okay? And that is actually a strike-through. So something had landed on this coin prior to the strike, and that little debris piece was embedded into the coin after the strike, and then somewhere along the line it fell out. The coins are always worth a lot more when the actual retained debris piece is still on there. It could be like a wood chip or a wire piece or a staple. You just never know. But this one right here, believe it or not, sold for $104.20. The pictures in hindsight aren't spectacular. They are clear enough to be able to see some of the things that he was pointing out. So there you go. That's that one there. Crazy. $104. All right, so the next one that we have here is a 1983 Lincoln Memorial cent. This one was advertised as having actually it was advertised as being a little bit off-center, but as you can see, it's got a slight misaligned die. So you have a much thicker rim over here on this side, and it thins out almost to the level of the fields here. But the reverse is perfectly centered. So you do have a little bit of a misaligned die error on the obverse. And this one sold for $1.99. All right, it's as minor as that. You can make $2 or $3 off of, you know, so something to consider. All right, so this one's going to drive me nuts, and you guys will probably feel the same way too. So this is a lot of 5 candy half-dollar errors, and I would have to say that this individual, this seller, sold probably maybe 12 to 15 different lots. And each lot had anywhere from like 5 coins to as high as maybe 8 or 9 coins, and they're all errors of the same type. So right off the bat, the lot's sold for $12.51 shipped, but by the time you go through the 5 coins, this guy left a boatload of money on the table, because this one coin that you see here, which it looks or appears to be a 1984 Philadelphia, you could just barely make out the Philadelphia mint mark, is an obvious struck through grease on the obverse. Okay, it's a really dramatic strike through because a lot of the letters are either partial or completely missing. In Liberty, the date is completely or just about obliterated. So this is a fantastic example, and I feel like just this coin by itself will sell for 10 to 15 bucks. All right, so why sell it as a lot? So here's the next one. This one is also a struck through grease on the obverse. You have L and I and Liberty completely missing. In the motto of "In God We Trust" is gone. You just have a lot of weakness in certain areas where there was grease, a big old smattering of grease prior to the strike. This was also added in there. Check this one out. This one has a big old kind of like long strike through. Okay, this is probably a hardened piece of debris or grease right here. That's not a hit. Okay, you don't see the buildup of material on either side of this. As a matter of fact, you do have a little bit of dye subsidence on this. So this is a coin that probably sells for 5 to 10 bucks on its own. Another strike through grease. Just go ahead and take a look at it. It's it's a fully involved one that L and I and Liberty and T and Y and Liberty is completely enveloped in this grease. It's completely missing. Plus, you have also certain elements in the motto, and the date is a little bit weak on a few of the digits. Okay, this is a coin that sells for 5 to 10 bucks on its own. And then finally, you have another strike through grease. This one involves the reverse. This is the 5th coin of the group. Okay, so you guys get it. This would drive me nuts. These are 5 coins that are what I call standalones. You could sell these all on its own, raw, on eBay, throw it up for a traditional auction. The pictures are good enough, to facilitate some active bidding on it. And this person, instead of selling all 5 coins for $12.51 with shipping already in there, he probably could have made 40 to 50 bucks. So there's money left on the table. Heed caution when you do the lot format when you're selling these coins, because some of them are actually worth a lot more than you think. And lots just don't sell very well as they are. Alright, so the next coin that we have here, I've talked about this one in a few previous videos, but we have a 2019 D Lincoln Shield Cent that exhibits a relatively recent find. It's got a double earlobe. You can see the little piece of earlobe right here. This is one of the less spectacular doubled earlobe cents. The 2018 D, as you know, I've done a video on my big hoard search that I found. That is actually a much more spectacular doubled ear. That coin by its own sells for between 15 and 20 bucks a piece. This one right here sold for $26.40 best offer. So he accepted an offer somewhere in there, probably around 15 bucks or so, and then another 3 bucks for shipping. Alright, so we got an off-center Jefferson nickel. Who doesn't like these errors? Okay, it's even got some really nice steps on the reverse. This looks to be a really nice mid-state, like 64 example. It's a 1989 Philadelphia. This one is off-center about 20%, and you have a fully featured date, which is usually one of the big keys to collecting these, and that's what people look for and pay all the money for, is does this coin have a full readable date on there, because sometimes these get cut off. This one sold for $28.50. Pretty nice. Nice addition to an error collection. Alright, so this coin right here, it's an obverse and reverse pick, but it looks like it was in a plastic roll of some sort, one of those coin tubes. This one right here actually is a really nice double die reverse. Alright, the close-up pictures are phenomenal, but that reverse picture is awfully out of focus on here. So going back to the doubling, you can see all sorts of notching in the letters, okay? Believe it or not, this is not a Cherry Picker's Guide variety, guys. This is a double die reverse number 4 through Wexler's, and it's a Konica double die reverse number 12. It's a very neat looking double die that features quite a bit of doubling on United States of America. And the initials, check that out, FG is doubled over. So this coin sold for $12.40. It's classified as kind of a minor double die, but it is pretty nice nonetheless. Alright, here's another off-center cent. It's a 1998 Lincoln Memorial, this one right here, with all of its little carbon spots and little, issues all over the place. Is off-center by a little, maybe 5% or so. This one sold for $18.94. Alright. Okay. Heed caution when you go through your silver, because this is quite an innocuous error on this 1963 Franklin half dollar. Okay, so if you were going to go out, whether online or a coin shop, and buy a relatively, I guess, BU Franklin half dollar, a common date, this is a 1963, okay, you would expect to pay somewhere, around $7 to $8. Okay, if you bought it as a singular coin. You might even be able to score this coin at melt if you're going through a dealer's kind of like, melt bin of 50-cent pieces. All right, so keep an eye out for little errors like this, where it has a little rim clip. All right, so that immediately transforms a coin where, without the error, you're looking at like maybe a $7 to $9 coin. This one sold for $31.49. Okay, it's a pretty substantial amount of money, considering how much the coin actually is without the error. All right, and the clip is not very big. This is one that's easily missed. So definitely keep out for little things like that, because this is a testament to the value, the extra value that little, mint errors provide to these type of coins. All right, so I've talked about this one before. We got another 1970D Washington quarter that was actually struck inadvertently on dime thickness stock. So the coin is comparably a lot thinner than a traditional Washington quarter, okay, because it was struck on a much thinner planchet that was intended for Roosevelt dimes. Okay, so this one, even though the seller did not provide any photos kind of comparing this coin to a regular Washington quarter, which I've had, actually, as a matter of fact, in last week's episode. This one right here, you could just, there's a few hallmarks, a few telltale signs, so to speak, of why this is a legit dime stock error, okay? So there's a lot of weakness on the edge. All right, when the dime stock quarter-sized planchet was inserted into the striking chamber during the strike, keep in mind, the press operators calibrate these to a certain pressure based off of the thickness of that planchet. So this is a much thinner planchet, therefore the amount of pressure involved with the strike is not going to upset all the features as it's intended. You have a lot of weakness here on the reverse. All right, so this is a pretty neat error. Sold for $32, which is right in the wheelhouse of all the other examples that have sold. Now, there have been a few, I guess, that sold like for $50 or so, but keep in mind, this one has a pretty big, sizable carbon kind of environmental issue right here on the obverse, and that probably played a little bit of a role in why this one sold for a little bit less than the others. All right, so we're back to more interesting serial number fancies. Okay, this one right here is a two-digit radar. The seller had advertised this as a super radar, and that's actually incorrect, because you have a double number, 4 numbers, and a double number, where in a super radar, you have single number bookends. Okay, so a real super radar would be 9, 6 2s, and then a number 9, not a double 9 on both ends. Okay, so this is simply a 2-digit radar. But make no mistake about it, these are very collectible. Okay, this is even a $2 bill, which kind of has its own, like, cult favorite, underground type of popularity on its own. This one right here sold for $89, ladies and gentlemen. Keep an eye out for these interesting serial number patterns. It's easy money. All right, so this one right here, we've come across, I'm sure, more than our fair share, but this is a 69S Lincoln Memorial that features, oddly enough, a floating roof. Okay, so what makes this a floating roof is that there are two lines at the end of each side of the roof, and real simply, they were just over polished when these dies were reworked at one point. So this one right here is, quite a circulated coin. It's brown, and it's got spots and other stuff going on with it. It did sell for $3.59. All right, so keep that in mind as you're going through these. They do exist in coins generally from 1968 to about 1972. They're pretty regular in that particular date range. All right, so we got 1983 Philadelphia Lincoln Memorial Cent. As you can see, this is one of those jailbird, jailhouse clashes that we all love. This one right here is probably more on the minor side, but if you look underneath Lincoln's chin, on his back, and then up here near his eye, and then up here at the back of his head, those are all of the standard kind of signs of a jailbird clashing. All right, which is simply the Lincoln Memorial clashed with all of the individual bays to the obverse die. All right, so this one right here, it sold for $7. Not bad. That's a pretty respectable amount of money. Die clashes, especially examples that are as interesting as this, will always command a little bit of a secondary market premium. All right, so we have another favorite. This is a 60 AD candy half dollar. These pictures are a little bit out of focus and a little bit too overexposed. There's a lot of white going on here. But this is one of your classic 40% candies that everybody loves to hunt for. This one right here is pretty nice. It's a BU, probably a 64, 65. But really, the hot part of this is a really nice double die obverse. As a matter of fact, it's FS 101, the Cherry Picker's Guide. It is indeed a very nice doubled die. You can see just the notching, the doubling, and everything going on with this coin. This is a popular cherry pick type piece. This one sold for $39. Not bad. A regular 40% straight out of a roll is worth what? $2.20 or something like that. So this, if you're able to find it, is a pretty nice upgrade in the actual money that you get for it. So it's a kind of nice bonus. All right, we got another off-center. This one's nice. It's a 1989 Philadelphia Washington quarter. Figure this one to be a roughly 5 to 7% off-center. It's not substantial, but it is kind of wicked enough that it definitely warrants taking out of your change. Do not throw it back. This one sold for $32.50. Apparently, it's a rather tough date to find with an off-center strike like this one. All right, so compared to the Washington quarter you just saw, this one is not an off-center struck coin. Even though, check out that obverse. Okay, it's definitely off-center, but the reverse is perfectly centered. Well, what gives? Well, we saw a coin much like this at the beginning of the video. It's a misaligned die. When you get a misaligned die, usually it's the obverse, that is so far offset like this, where you're missing quite a few of the design details on that cut off end there. By the way, you can still tell this is a 1999 Denver minted coin right here. When you have some detail loss in the actual design of the coin, that's where your misaligned dies are worth quite a bit more money than just maybe $1 or $2. This one right here sold for $13.99. Strangely enough, the obverse picture is crystal clear, but the back end of it is out of focus. I don't know what happened here with the seller, but you took this picture, you had a couple shots of something or other, and then now this is what it looks like afterwards. So there you go. All right, another repunch mint mark. This is a favorite of mine. It's a 56 D over D, where the secondary D is north of the primary mint mark. 1956 Denvers are riddled with all sorts of neat repunch mint marks, and they are all sought after especially in this particular condition. This one right here is RPM number 3. It's BU, as it looks, full red. Sold for $11. Not bad. You could go through a roll and probably find 5 or 6 of these if they're all from the same set of dies, I suppose. So here's one that probably a lot of you would overlook, because guess what? I overlook these. This is a 1997 D out of all dates. Really, there's not a whole lot of fanfare with this date and mint mark, let alone any other Denvers of the late 90s. But check this out. This is a double die reverse number 2. And what the doubling is this little thing right here, jutting out. Yeah, need I say more? What really helped out this sale is the phenomenal close-up photos. If you can take photos like this, I think you've really hit a huge home run. Okay, you're gonna score your guys in, and you're gonna win the game. This seller made $21.90 on something so unbelievably minor yet so substantial, because the photos just really hit it home. Okay, so guys, perfect your imaging. Use less light, less direct light on your coins, and you'll do no wrong. This is the way to do it. Pretty nice sale. All right, so we've seen these 2008 Denver, Alaska state quarters, okay, and as we all know, you can find some with little tiny die chips right here in between some of these claws, and these are actually called 6-clawed variants. All right, and really what it is just a little die chip. They are popular, to some collectors, so much so this one sold for $12.78. And it's really not that great of a condition coin. Probably an AU-55, if I had to guess. Oh boy, so here's the coin that highlighted the beginning of the video. It's a 1982 obvious Roosevelt dime. It's a Philadelphia struck example. But if it was really struck in Philadelphia, shouldn't it have a Philadelphia mint mark? Yes, that's right. This is the missing mint mark variety of this coin, as made popular in the Red Book, in the Cherry Picker's Guide, and all over the internet. This is a coin that probably is generally overlooked, only because Roosevelt dimes are least searched in today's coin roll hunting kind of world. But this is also defined as being the strong variant of the missing mint mark, because you don't have any weakness in the date area or in Liberty. All right, so it's a much more desirable die state with the missing mint mark. Okay, it's supposed to have a P, trust me, but the ones that don't have it are apparently very rare. Someone paid $78 for this coin, and guess what? It's correct market value. That is what it should sell for. So it's little kind of like very honest looking things like this that really surprises me, because this is what coin collecting is all about. Finding little interesting little tidbits and nuances of your coins and seeing if other people like it. So it's a 1993 Denver Roosevelt dime. Okay, you've probably seen a die chip that looks pretty similar to what this is, but because of the die chip and how it's shaped on the mint mark, guess what? This has a really cute nickname of being the Flying D mint mark. Okay, so you advertise it as such, being an error, with a little die chip on the letter D of the mint mark. And you have a coin that sold for $18.80. Really, you can't make stuff up like this, because this is pure straight up reality. It's a very interesting coin with the die chip, and because of that, it almost commanded a $20 bill. So keep an eye out for these for you folks out there on the West Coast. There's bound to be more, because, it's a die chip, and they all form the same way as these dies progress through the strikes. We got a couple coins left. I guess you guys are ready to call it quits for the evening. So what we have here is a very interesting 2017 $1 FRN, which features a very severe underinking of the second print. All right, so that's all of the black and white, or the black area that you see here. See how robust the bank seals and the serial numbers are on this note. That's the first print on this note. So that was, inked really well. It's just when this other second print was printed on there, there wasn't nearly enough ink. This is on a much more newer note. Okay, take note of that. This one sold for $95. Okay, there's bound to be a few more, especially if they're off of this same sheet. All right, because usually it'll affect more than just one note. It'll affect a whole grip of notes. And there's 32 notes on a subject sheet straight from the BEP. All right, keep that in mind. And then we're going to go ahead and end it off on this bad boy. It's a 1959 Lincoln Memorial with a huge crack-looking thing with a hole. And yes, this is a real deal error. Okay, this is actually a defective planchet, probably punched out of the end of a metal strip. Okay, so the blanks are punched out collectively out of a strip of metal that's flattened already. This one was probably one of the end pieces, as you could tell when you could see like all the inside composition of the coin, and it's see-through. You could see a hole. These are called fissures on these defective planchets. This is a very, very knockout-looking example right here. I've owned a few, but this one's probably the best I've seen in quite a while. This one sold for $54.50. All right, don't throw these away. These are very desired errors. And yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this Pocket Change Market Report. It was certainly a lot of fun. It should give you guys a little bit of that extra zing, you know, when you go into Saturday. You're like, what am I going to do? Oh, wait, yeah. Sean, Blue Ridge's video on all of the neat stuff that, you know, people have sold in the last 24 hours. This is the last 24 hours worth of sales, guys. And there's so much more. Keep that in mind. Okay, this is not like a full week's worth of coin sales. So if I did that, this video would be like 2 hours long, trust me. But it was certainly a pleasure having you guys pop in for the 30 minutes. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful night checking in on some pretty neat stuff that's sold on eBay. Yeah, when you got it and you don't want it, sell it. You know, make 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, $100. The money is out there today. You have a whole host of various collectors that's looking to pay you for your interesting coins and currency. I'm your host, Sean, with BlueRidgeSilverhound. We have a lot of fun today. I know it. You guys are smiling, sort of, except that guy over there that's not smiling. But anyways, like, share, and subscribe, please. Please, oh please. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Good luck this weekend if you're going to do some hunting. Lots to find out there and lots to capitalize on. Enjoy the hobby. Coinaholics, we are discovering together. I'll see you on the next episode. Enjoy and take care. Be safe.